MLS is back, or perhaps maybe it never left, depending how interested you were in the Leagues Cup. In fact, Leagues Cup is still going. Philly is playing in the third place game against Monterrey, and Miami and Nashville are playing in the final, so you won't see any of those teams playing on Sunday. Now, if you want my quick thoughts on Nashville and Miami, be sure to click the link at the end of this video for the Leagues Cup final preview. You will, though, see 22 other teams playing on Sunday this weekend in 11 different games. I'm including five of those games into two parlays for MLS Week 27 right here. Now, before we jump in, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more soccer picks on this channel. This weekend alone, I've got picks in MLS, Leagues Cup, the Women's World Cup, and many other top Euro leagues. But right now, it's MLS, and let's go to parlay number one, and it's starting with Hell is Real. That's Columbus and Cincinnati. The round starts with this rivalry game. Now, Columbus beat St. Louis 2-1 and Club America 4-1 to reach the round of 32 in their Leagues Cup tournament before crashing out in PKs versus Minnesota after a 3-3 draw. Cincinnati beat SKC in PKs after a 3-3 draw as well, and Chivas 3-1 in the Leagues Cup group stage before also going out in PKs in the round of 32 to Nashville after drawing 1-1 in regulation. This is the second edition of this rivalry this season, with Cincinnati winning 3-2 at home back in May. Now, a scoreline with multiple goals has been the norm of late between these two. The previous 6 scorelines read 2-2, 2-0, 3-2, 2-2, 2-1, and 3-0. A road team also hasn't won in this matchup across the past 8 meetings. The Crew are 6th in the East with 36 points, compared to Cincinnati, who are in first with 51, leading the Supporters' Shield race. Columbus games averaged the joint most goals in the league, along with Atlanta at 3.4. Now, in MLS, they've scored in all but one game this season, and across all competitions, the Crew have scored in 27 of 29 games in 2023. The Crew score a ton. They have 45 goals, which is an MLS high. They also concede a lot, though, as well. The 33 goals they've allowed is the 4th most amongst the current 18 playoff teams. Bets on over 2.5 have gone 14-9 for Columbus this season. Over 1.5 is 22-1. So basically, you're always seeing Columbus score, and you're seeing at least 2 goals in their games. In all competitions, both teams to score is on a 7-0 run for Columbus, and it's 12-1 in their past 13. Bets on both teams to score in over 2.5 is 6-1 in their past 7 and 10-3 in their past 13. Cincinnati games also feature plenty of goals of late in all competitions. Both teams to score is 7-0, and both teams to score in over 2.5 is 6-1 in their recent games. Cincinnati has only failed to score once in 28 games all season long as well. Now, the Crew suffered a big loss as they sold midfielder Lucas Zelarayan during the Leagues Cup to Saudi Arabia, but then they turned around quickly and they signed ex-MLS and LAFC player Diego Rossi. Cincinnati already brought in a new striker themselves in Aaron Bupenza right before the Leagues Cup. He scored in his MLS debut and had 1 assist in the Leagues Cup. Columbus are the highest scorers in MLS, and they have just 1 home loss in 22 home games in all competitions since August of last year. Cincinnati almost never fail to score, and if they avoid defeat here, they will be the 2nd team ever in MLS history to have only 2 losses in their first 24 games to start a season. You could go both teams to score in this game. You could probably go both teams to score in over 2.5 as one single bet. For this parlay, we will just go both teams to score as the first leg. And the second leg, we'll move over to St. Louis City and Austin FC. It's the first time meeting between these two. It's expansion St. Louis and Austin. Both made quick exits from the Leagues Cup. Austin lost 3-1 each to Mazatlan and Juarez of Liga MX, and they went out in the group stage. St. Louis didn't fare any better. They lost 2-1 to Columbus and 4-0 to Club America. So both will be well rested for their MLS returns, and maybe that is for the best. St. Louis had been cruising in their first season, being first in the West and 13-2-8 and 3rd in the overall MLS standings. At home, they're 8-1-3, and they've scored 29 to just 10 goals conceded. Now, Austin didn't start the season strong, but they were 4-1-1 in their 6 games leading up to the Leagues Cup, and they had risen to 5th in the West. So perhaps a return to league play will be best for both teams. Across all competitions, Austin has now scored in 12 straight games. However, both teams to score has also hit in each of their past 6 and in 10 of those 12 as well. So obviously defense has not been strong for Austin despite them scoring goals. Coming into Leagues Cup, St. Louis were also in good form, being 4-0-1 and having kept clean sheets in 3 of those 5 games. But low-scoring games, they're very rare for St. Louis this season. In their very short history across all competitions in 2023, they've played 27 games. In 24 of them, there's been at least 2 goals scored. The time off has given St. Louis striker João Klaus time to recover. He's inching closer to return. It may not be this weekend, but word is it could be close. He's been practicing with the team. St. Louis also signed Icelandic international Nokvi Thorensen this summer, and this attacker could be in line for some minutes this weekend as well. Once again, if not this weekend, it should be soon. If it's this weekend, that adds to an attack, the St. Louis attack. On the flip side, Austin traded away midfielder Diego Fagundes to the LA Galaxy for midfielder Memo Rodriguez. They also added Matt Hedges on defense from Toronto. Now, losing Fagundes certainly won't help the Austin attack, but I could still see a bet on both teams to score here, given how both teams were scoring before Leagues Cup. But to be safe, since St. Louis do have 4 clean sheets in their past 7 home games, we're just going to ask St. Louis to score a goal in this parlay. It's something they've done in all but 1 home game in MLS this season, and in 12 of 14 home games across all competitions. Let's go St. Louis to score. So that's St. Louis to score with Columbus and Cincinnati both to score. I found minus 127 odds over at Bet365, but usually these kind of bets could get a little bit better odds at Caesars. I just don't see the St. Louis to score option up right now. Let's move into parlay number 2. Second parlay, I've got 3 games, and they're all coming late night Sunday. They all start at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, so we are primed for some MLS After Dark chaos, probably in at least one of these games. Let's start this off with the LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake. These were 2 of the hottest teams coming into the Leagues Cup break. The Galaxy lost the final MLS game 4-2 to Vancouver, but had been 3-4-0 prior to that loss. Meanwhile, Real Salt Lake came in undefeated in 10 across all competitions and with only 1 loss in 15 games across all competitions going into Leagues Cup. But both teams saw their Leagues Cup campaigns end earlier than they would have liked. LA failed to get past the group stage, losing 1-0 to Lyon and 2-1 to Vancouver again. RSL had more success. They beat Seattle 3-0 before losing 3-0 to Monterrey. That was enough to get through to the round of 32, though, where they beat Lyon 3-1 before losing to LAFC 4-0 in the round of 16. Now, they did lose more than that, though, in that game, as key midfielder Pablo Ruiz damaged his meniscus and has undergone surgery that will see him miss 4 to 6 months. RSL have added some midfield help, though, in Kevin Lambert. He comes from Phoenix in the USL, but he's played 25 games for Jamaica internationally. All in all, RSL still, though, have only 3 losses in their past 19 games across all competitions, so should be feeling good coming in out of this break. This will be the 3rd meeting between these teams this season, with both previous meetings being in Salt Lake and both ending in 3-2 scorelines. LA won the first matchup in MLS in May, while RSL won the second in the US Open Cup in June. The form guide will show RSL is hot, but the scoring trends are also pointing to goals as well. There's been 3 or more goals scored in each of their past 7 games, 3 or more goals scored in 10 of 11, as well as in 13 of 15. Galaxy games, too, have seen plenty of goals, with 8 of 11 seeing 3 or more goals, in 21 of 23 seeing 2 or more goals. Across all competitions, at home, the LA Galaxy have only failed to score twice in their past 27 games. That's going back into last season. So the trends say LA scores at home, but RSL are also the top road team in the league at 6-3-3 with 21 points, so they should be able to score as well. Again, both teams to score by itself, both teams scored over 2.5 by itself. In this parlay, we are going to start it off with both teams to score between the Galaxy and Real Salt Lake. And we will move on to another LA team, and it's LAFC and the Colorado Rapids. Now, LAFC may have made the quarterfinals of Leagues Cup, but they still only played 1 more game than Colorado in the tournament, and that's because they had a bye to the round of 32. And when they started the tournament, LAFC kicked it off with a 7-1 and 4-0 wins over Juarez and RSL. Up 2-0 to Monterrey. In the next round, they looked on their way to the Final Four, but allowing 3 goals in the final 20 minutes saw Monterrey pull off the comeback and win 3-2. Dennis Bouanga picked up where he left off, though, for MLS. He knocked home 6 goals in those games. Carlos Vela scored 2 in the first game, but he then left injured. The Rapids continued what they had done all season in MLS in Leagues Cup, and that was, well, losing more games. They lost 2-1 to Nashville and 4-1 to Toluca in the group stage, and they called it a day on their Leagues Cup journey. In MLS, they're dead last in the West with 19 points at 3-10-10. They've been outscored 30-16 as well. And on the road, those numbers are just as poor. They're 2-3-6, and they've been outscored 20-9. Meanwhile, LAFC, they're second in the conference, and they're 7-3-2 at home, scoring 22 and allowing just 10. These teams tied 0-0 in Colorado earlier this season, but the Rapids have 1 win in 15 across all competitions. Now, Colorado, they did sign a new DP forward in Rafael Navarro, but it won't be enough here, in my opinion. LAFC for the win this time around after failing to do so against Colorado earlier this season. LAFC to win for the second leg of the parlay. And the final one leg will come from Vancouver and San Jose. Like I said, another 10:30 p.m. game. Now we have two rested teams here. Neither played a big part in the Leagues Cup. Vancouver drew Lyon 2-2, losing in PKs. They beat LA Galaxy 2-1 in the group stage, and then they last played August 4th, drawing Tigres in the round of 32, 1-1 before losing in PKs. San Jose should be even more rested, having lost 2-0 to Portland and 1-0 to Tigres in the group stage of the tournament and failing to advance. They've been off since July 30th. These teams are neck and neck in MLS, with San Jose being 6th with 32 points in the West, and Vancouver being right behind in 7th with 31 points. However, there's a big disparity in these teams' home and road records. Vancouver, who is the home team here, they're 7-4-2, and they've outscored their opponents 29-15 at home. San Jose is the road team, and on the road they are 1-4-6, and they've been outscored 20-10 on the road. Vancouver games have seen plenty of goals of late across all competitions. Vancouver is 15-4 to over 2.5 in their past 19. Bets on both teams to score are 16-3 in those games, and both teams scoring over 2.5 is 13-6 as well. The Caps didn't fare well at home in the Leagues Cup, losing 2 games to Mexican competition, but in MLS they have just 1 home loss in their past 12, and they've scored in 8 straight as well, as also in 15 of their past 16 playing at BC Place. Now, it's basically never a good bet taking San Jose to win on the road. It's been a bad bet this season, and it's been a bad bet going back much further when you consider they have 1 road win in 18, just 2 road wins in 28, and they've conceded a goal in 25 of those 28 away games as well. Vancouver hasn't proved that they can keep a clean sheets, allowing a goal in 13 straight in all comps, but they are scoring and winning on their home pitch. You could go single bets, both teams to score, maybe a Vancouver win, but we will just ask for a Vancouver goal. So if you do LAFC to win, LA, Galaxy, and RSL both teams to score, and Vancouver to score, you can get plus 151 odds over at Caesars. If, that already being in plus money, and if you wanted to play a little bit safer, if you dropped Vancouver out of that, you could still get plus 115, or you could keep Vancouver in and simply lower LA and RSL from both teams to score to over 2.5, and you could still get minus 106, but those are just some other options just in case you wanted to play it even safer. Now, those are my picks. I'll leave all those picks in a graphic after this video. Now, what are your picks? Drop them in the comments. Give this video a like, and good luck, everybody, with your MLS Week 27 picks this weekend.